Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be pre-filling this portable painter palette and customizing it with gouache. So stay tuned and we'll get right to it. Okay, today I am getting ready to go on a trip and a watercolor workshop, and it's a sketchbook workshop that's going to be doing some plein air. So rather than take all my tube gouaches, which I have some Daniel Smith tube gouaches right here in this box, I am going to pre-fill them and put them in this portable painter, and I'm giving myself about a week to let them dry. So we'll just start out doing this. I have quinacridone magenta. Let's just pull this back. I have quinacridone magenta, pyro red, we'll go this way, and Hansa yellow medium, and ultramarine blue, burnt umber, permanent green light, and titanium white. So I think that will be enough to get me started. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I got room for some other colors if I'd like. And, you know, I might dig around and see. This is all the Daniel Smith I have. And I also have these, custom pans. So I don't know if I would prefer to do that, because I think this is enough colors, with the exception of a black, to mix everything I'd want. So these little pans here will fit in the place where the brush is. So let me take that brush out. And from my understanding, they'll fit there. And they do. And they included a little sticky dots to keep them in place. And I think I would like to have for, let's see, they come, I think you peel it off. That's something. Okay, you peel that off, put that in place, and then put it back in there, and it'll stay in place. Yes, and it does. It keeps it in place. Now, whether that'll last, you know, with water going in and out, but I think I will put, how many will that fit? What would I use the most? Definitely would use white the most. So I think I'll put those 3 there. So, okay, let me get those put in and then we'll fill the palette. Okay, so I pulled some other tubes of gouache out, and I don't know if you guys are familiar, or you probably are, with the portable painter. It, you know, it hooks, it comes folded up, and then it has these water things on the outside, and it just closes up nice, and you got a clip to close it. Oh, I put it the wrong way. And it's got a clip to close it and to keep it closed. And this to wrap around. I think it's intended to hold a water brush or something there. And, you know, you could hold a water brush there and just carry it with you, all portable. So, and, you know, just a little sketchbook, and that'd be all you need. So, but I'm going a little bit different. You know, I'm taking a palette of watercolors, my Daniel Smith landscape palette, and updated landscape palette. I'll link both of those. My initial palette, I'll link some of that below in the description below, or in the end cards, or up in the iCards. But this one, I am going to make a gouache palette. And thanks to Sarah Burns and her channel, she's a great gouache artist, and she gives some tips on how to make a dried gouache palette so you don't have to carry all these tubes to go plein air painting. So I'm going to try to do that as well. And I'm just going to pick the colors I think I would use. Let me put all that together so I don't misplace it. And I customized so I could have a couple whites and some black. And I didn't have a black Daniel Smith, and I didn't have a burnt sienna. So I'm pulled that out of my Schminke palette, gouache. And so I'm just gonna get started. And I pulled this titanium gold ochre out of my Schminke palette. Oh, let's see if I have a sap green. I don't know. I just have a limited colors in here, so you know, I'm just gonna go with what we got, and I'll mix this time. So first I'm gonna start with Hansa Yellow Medium. And I'll probably need a toothpick to put that around. Alright, I don't have any toothpicks in my studio. I need to get some. But I do have a stylus. So I'm just going to use it to manipulate my gouache into all four corners of the pan. All right. Now I'm going to go with the titanium gold ochre, PBR 24. There's a little bit of binder separation there, but I'm not going to worry about that too much because I think that just might keep it moist longer and prevent it from cracking. We'll stir it up a little bit. That is a warmer yellow. All right. Next, I'm going to go with this Pyro Red, Daniel Smith. We'll swatch this out and do some mixing. I'm really excited. I have never done a dried gouache palette before, and I'm hoping it'll work. So I put a little mister bottle. She says to mist your paints when you're getting ready and let them get to a consistency to use. And she also said that you might have to add an extra layer to get the opacity that you want. Okay, that's Pyro Red. And here is Quinacridone Magenta. That is not focusing. There it goes. That's PR 122. Oh, that might be a good color for me to make a mix. Okay, so I went ahead and took my stylus and moved that around a little bit, but I had to rethink my palette because I'm going to have some spaces left, and I think when I get to my workshop, I'm going to buy cobalt blue, so I'm going to put ultramarine here. And I think if I just put it that way, I shouldn't have to push down if I squirt into each corner. So I think I'll buy a cobalt because of using it outside for skies. And so I'll leave this one empty, and then I'll use this Helio Green bluish. It is, I can't find the pigment. Oh, PG7. So this is a phthalo. So that ought to be a good mixer. I don't even think I'll mess with that one, because I think after this top dries, I'm going to push down on them and then come back and top them off tomorrow. So I don't know, we'll just have to see. So then I'm going to put permanent green light. I'm going to use it before I make my own custom colors. She makes her own custom colors. That permanent green light had a lot of binder in it. So, okay, now burnt sienna. I might leave this space empty in case I want to make my own sap green, earthy green. And then I'm going to put burnt sienna here. Burnt sienna. Just basically like you're setting it up like a watercolor palette. I'm going to have to scooch that paint around a little bit. I hope this works. You know, the only thing I worry about is, you know, gouache has a tendency to crack. And Winsor, Newton, and Holbein says, do not pan. This will crack and fall out. But these two brands, I think, are the better brands that won't do that. So as they dry, I'm going to push down on them to compress them more. Okay, here is Burnt Umber. It's a cool brown. All right, so I'm going to not put anything in these 3 pans in case I want to make some specialty colors. Now, I'm going to take the titanium white and fill this custom pan. Two of them. I hope this works. And then I'm going to take some ivory black. This is Schminke. And put here. There's some binder coming out of that. All right, so let's swatch them. See what we get. Okay, so I am going to swatch these colors in my Painter's Color Diary Travel book. And I'll link this in the description below so you can go get it. I'll link the portable painter and the gouaches as well that I'm using. And I left some spaces and I left some spaces on this respectively. So let's just swatch them. I'm going to use this Princeton Aqua Elite 1/4 inch stroke brush. It's like a pseudo sable brush. And I'm just going to get enough water to get the paint moving. And just take a little bit and we're just going to put it on here for color reference. And I'm going to need a little bit more water and opacity. It's pretty opaque. And there's no white in these pigments yet, so being as opaque as it is a good sign. So I'm going to rinse my brush and go on to the next color. And the next one is Schminke. Titanium Gold Ochre. And it is very opaque. I think I'm going to need more water because I can't even get it to flow. That's a nice color. Nice earth yellow. Okay. Next one is Pyro Red, Daniel Smith. Just a little bit. Nice, creamy. Creamy gouache. We'll do some mixing down below, down here, so we can see how they look mixed with white. Quinacridone Magenta. Daniel Smith. Quinacridone Magenta is a transparent color anyway. I did put the pigment numbers down. Hansa Yellow was PY74. this titanium gold ochre is PBR 24. Daniel Smith's Pyro Red is PR 254. And Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Magenta is PR 122. Okay. Now we're going to go with Ultramarine Blue. Oh, that's gorgeous. This paper in this book is cotton. That's kind of transparent, so I'm going to get a little bit more and put it down. Like I said, I think I'm going to get some cobalt blue, and I looked on the internet and I know Daniel Smith has some more colors to choose from, and if they have a cerulean blue, I might get that too for skies. Okay, the next one is Schminke PG7 Helios Green Bluish. This is a phthalo. I do like this brush for gouache. And just don't want to get too much water. It's pretty transparent. And then Permanent Green Light. Daniel Smith. Oh, this is quite opaque. That would be good to straight mix. Okay, and then I skipped one because I thought if I could find a more natural green or mix my own sap green, then I might put that there. So I'm just leaving myself options. Next one is Schminke Burnt Sienna. That's nice. Okay. And Daniel Smith Burnt Umber. And I could mix a dark with French Ultramarine and Burnt Umber, Burnt Sienna, but I wanted to have a black. It's different in gouache than it is in watercolor. It's the same, but it's different. So now I'm going to do the Daniel Smith Titanium White PW6, and both of these are PBR7s. I think the only mix I have is this Daniel Smith Permanent Green Light, and it's PY3 and PG7. So I could have probably got something similar with the PG7. Look how opaque that titanium white is. Oh, that's just wonderful. Okay, now let's go for the black. Okay, so now I'm going to do some mixing. So I think I will use my brush. Where did I find it? Oh, I left it in the water. Darn. That's something you don't want to do. Okay, so I'm going to take Hansa Yellow Medium. I'm going to mix each one with white. That kept its saturation good. Let's just get that and mix it a little bit more. And get it down to a nice bright. That's pretty. That's pretty. Didn't lose its saturation. Let's see. Let's mix Hansa Yellow Medium with Pyro Red and Quin Magenta and Ultramarine Blue. Pyro Red. Nice orange. Let's add some white. I just don't want to keep rinsing my brush. I just got to figure out how to do this. Let's get some white and mix it with that. That's nice. Mix it with Quin Magenta. Maybe some more Hansa Yellow. That's nice. That'd be pretty for a, I'm finding that if I just wipe my brush on a paper towel. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, let's go with Ultramarine Blue. Now that makes a nice green. Hansa Yellow Medium and Ultramarine Blue. Nice green. It's more natural. And a little bit of white. That's nice. Okay, let me try. I was wanting Ultramarine Blue with, it just doesn't take much. These Daniel Smith is, and let me take a little bit of black. Need a little bit more water. It makes a nice dark blue. Nice. Let's mix it with a little bit of white. I hope this works. I'm so used to watercolor. This is going to be different. That is really nice. Isn't that nice? That is beautiful. Okay, let's take some Quin Magenta and mix it with white and maybe just a little bit of PG7 and white. pretty. And if we put a little bit of PG7 in there, just not too much, because it's really high tinting. It needs a little bit more. And that makes a pretty lavender color. Isn't that pretty? So Quin Magenta plus a little bit of PG7 and a little bit of white. Let me put just a little bit more white. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah, look at that. I love these colors. Okay, there's plenty of mixing capabilities. Let's try the Quin Magenta with black. Let me pull this up. Okay. Now I'm going to get some white. And see what that brings. That makes a nice deep purple color. Let's get some white, some more white. Yeah, that makes a nice purple color too. Okay, it's what you wouldn't think. You can use your black as a blue. And let's see if we can get a good dark with ultramarine blue. And burnt umber. And we can. Now let's add some white. You might need to add a little bit more blue because it looks kind of brown. It's a nice gray. Let's add a little bit more blue. To cool it off. There we go. Easy color mixing. Easy color mixing. So we can get a good sap green, good orange and peach, and a good indigo color, a good purple, good gray. So I think so far this is a complete palette. Let's mix that ultramarine blue, because I'm thinking about skies here. Let's mix the ultramarine blue with white. I think white is okay, a little bit more white maybe. My fan are going on. The temperature dropped from 70 to 47. That makes pretty sky. Maybe just a teeny tiny bit of green to push it in that direction. That was too much, but that's a pretty green. Let's go back. That's a really pretty green. Get some more ultramarine. More white. Yeah, I think I need the cobalt. It's more neutral. I mean, that would work. That's kind of a teal color. And a cobalt teal would be a good one to add to this palette too. So let's get a little bit more ultramarine. I think the first time was the maybe this will work. There's a little bit of green in there. I think it would be good to mix on the palette before and not the paper. Yep, that would work. You could get by with ultramarine. It's really strong. You need a little bit of water to help, just to help it move. Yeah, I think if you had a little bit of, that is a pretty color right there that I mixed. That was ultramarine blue and PG7 or PG or permanent green light. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look at the video. But this is, I'll check back in with you and we'll check out how this dried gouache palette turned out.